Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 339.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos.
Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Monday in Keto Beyond the Couch.
Yay! We're here.
Solo.
We are solo. I mean, I guess we are a duo once again and no longer a trio. We actually took Peyton back. We actually met up at Universal yesterday to return Peyton, and we're so sorry. Like as far as like the the house is not as jovial as it was the previous week, but I'm thankful that we can be like fully present because it is hard to have your attention divided.
Well, we don't
props
get
to the moms
her
out there
a
and
lot.
dad.
We don't get her a lot. So when we have our granddaughter, we want to be fully present for her.
Right.
So, yes, sorry for last week. We weren't making as many posts and things like that, but we're going to get back on track this week. But having Peyton for a week really reminds me of why we do keto.
Yes.
I mean, yes, I do keto for my own personal health and to be around for Rachel. And we've talked about, and I saw a comment during the week where someone said, don't feel bad that you couldn't do things for your kids, which I do. But I recognize I can't go back and fix that I wasn't as healthy for my children as I am now. But walking around theme parks and hanging out with our granddaughter for the week and holding Parker yesterday is a reminder for me of why to keep going, and so that I can be a present grandfather for my grandchildren.
Well, I feel the same way. And the other thing is, I feel so excited that we get to share our way of eating with her. When she is with us, we do take that responsibility now. So yes, we can't go back in a time machine and do the right thing for our children, but I can do the right thing for my grandchildren. And she ate lavishly. We're going to have an upcoming vlog sort of showing you some of the things that we fed our toddler grandbabies, so that maybe when you have grandchildren or nieces or nephews, you can see how easy it is to eat keto with them. Don't get into the mindset of what is happening, like focus only on what is happening when they're not with you.
Right.
Like, well, what's the use of me giving them good meals when they're with me if when they're not with me, the majority of the time they're not eating keto? Don't focus on that.
Right.
See it as a true vacation. It's a vacation for them to spend time with you and do things differently because they're with you. And that can be the same thing on their plate as well.
And you don't have to spoil your grandchildren. And again, we have a vlog coming out, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. With treats when it comes to sugar and stuff. So the worst thing that Peyton ate the entire week was popcorn.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I'm sure somebody will say, that's not true. But
that's okay.
But popcorn to me, other than the fact that it's cooked in seed oils, usually, is not a horrible thing to give to my grandchild, especially when we gave her no sugar. And then we were able to walk her. We did SeaWorld with her, Busch Gardens with her, Universal Studios with her, carried her the entire time because we did not have a stroller.
She did not have a nap.
Never had a nap.
The entire week.
Never melted down.
No.
And was super happy eating things like Max Mallows.
Sure.
We got her those one night. Keto Chow ice cream, coffee, which was Keto Chow, pancakes, pizza. She had popcorn. We were putting Magic Spoon cereal on top of her ice cream.
What a game changer that was, because I have thought to myself, what do you do for things like parties or birthdays? And like, let's say you have a cupcake recipe or you have a cake recipe that you really like, but you're like, I don't, all of the sugar-free sprinkles many times are like completely dye-free and
they're not pretty.
And they're not pretty and they may not have a taste to them at all. And so you're thinking, man, what would I do for like a birthday? I'm telling you, like the Magic Spoon cereal, they have like very festive colors. If you took the time to say fruity, like the fruity ones,
the Trix version.
They have like, chocolate ones, but we found that super helpful. She completely identified them as sprinkles. She didn't even call them cereal. And it was like a great topper for ice cream to make a true Sunday experience.
I feel like I saw it was somebody's birthday, but I don't see it.
Let's see.
I saw somebody say happy birthday to someone.
Donna. Is it Donna Joe's birthday? I didn't know her birthday was in.
I don't know which Donna.
Let me know
Let us know whose
birthday it is.
Anyway, welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch. If you are new here, Keto Beyond the Couch is all about our subscribers. We do this every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern. We do it live whenever possible. We like to celebrate our subscribers and the wins and answer questions and comments that we found on our social media networks like Mighty Networks, which is members.2krazyketos.com. And you can join that for completely free. So the way we like to do this, if you're new, is we're going to go through what we've pre-prepared. And then from there, we'll get into the chat. So we don't pay too much attention to the chat during the very beginning. And so if you have a question, hold off till the end or use the super chat function. That's a little $sign that's down below in the window. That will benefit the channel, but highlight our screen and let us know that you have a question. So today's, today's sponsor is Redmond Real Salt.
We love you, Redmond.
So if you don't know, we absolutely love Redmond Real Salt. We've actually had the privilege of being in their mine twice. And people ask us all the time, which kind of salt should I get? And I'm going to tell you, if you live here in the United States,
Redmond.
The only salt that you should be consuming is Redmond Real Salt. You should not be using pink Himalayan salt. And this has nothing to do with the fact that Redmond is a company that we work with.
Right.
It has to do with, let's think. Okay, first of all, what a lot of people don't know is that most of the pink Himalayan salt that you are buying here in the United States is not real pink Himalayan salt.
Right.
It is salt, like regular salt, that has been colored pink to sell it to you.
And we've done that test with some...
You would know. You can take your salt and put it in a glass of water, and if at that bottom there's not a bunch of minerals when the salt dissolves, it's not real.
Right.
Okay. So Redmond Real Salt is mined right here in the United States in an underground mine that has not been touched by the environment outside, all the pollutants, the ocean, and all that kind of stuff. What's in the air? It's underground, and there is plenty of it. So don't worry about running out. There is plenty of it. The problem with pink Himalayan salt, though, if you live in the United States, it's not to get here from the United States.
Right.
It's got to travel all the way around the world. So you're adding pollutants to the earth. What is the mining practices of the company where you're getting? Are they doing child labor?
Right. What
if
labor
you
are they
lived
using?
in the Himalayas, I would say eat pink Himalayan salt. But you live here in the United States, so consume Redmond Real Salt. And what's wrong with sea salt? Again, pollutants in the ocean.
Also, how is it mined?
Well, it's not mined, it's made.
No, but I'm just saying, like, how are they getting it out? Like we've talked about in the past, like different like dynamite practices,
right,
in order to get it in. And I will say one of the things that we were amazed with when we went to Redmond's is even when they're like harvesting the salt, they are using food grade materials even on like the machinery.
And they don't dynamite for food grade salt.
Yeah. And then also even the lines where they have to like put oil to like lubricate the lines on the mining equipment, it's off. You could eat it.
Yeah.
Like do you really think that on the other side of the world, they are making sure that they're harvesting things with machinery that you could eat?
Yeah.
The fluids? I don't think so.
So Redmond Real Salt, you can buy it in some grocery stores, but they also have some really cool things like smoked salts, flavored salt. One of our favorite things is the organic seasoned salt, as well as the organic garlic and black pepper. It is great for rubs on meat. So if you need some salt, use this QR code on the screen or the link down below. That's going to get you 15% off. And you're supporting the company.
Oh, it's Bob's wife's Donna's birthday. Okay, here we go.
So wait a second. Let me finish.
I'm sorry.
So if you need some salt, go ahead and use this QR code or link. Support the channel and get yourself some good salt.
Are you done?
Yes.
Okay, you ready to sing to Donna?
Yes.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Donna. Happy birthday to you and many more, so many more.
Okay, let's jump right in. We're going to start off with, I do see Trish Reed is here, and I just wanted to give a shout out because this really warms my heart because this was really our vision.
I think Terry D is here too.
Trish said, what a fantastic time in our latest Western New York, Ontario keto meetup. These gatherings are a great reminder that you're not alone on your health journey. We shared some delicious keto-friendly food, swapped stories, and talked about all things low carb. If you're local and interested in joining our next one, let me know.
Look at you, beautiful people.
And this, again, this was our vision. When we started our channel, I mean, it was kind of a joke. And then when we really got serious about having the Two Crazy Ketos channel, we decided we wanted to focus on community, because there was no community. And we wanted to say that if you're walking around, as we always talk about, with your head down, if you look up, we'll be there. But we wanted to have this place where we envisioned like meetups around the country. We always talked about that. Go to conferences. Well, if you notice, there's not nearly as many conferences. Right. But one of the reasons that we really said to go to conferences, it wasn't for the speakers. Though the speakers are great. Yeah. Let's be honest.
You can see them on YouTube.
You can watch most of those talks on YouTube.
Yeah.
When we do a presentation at a conference, we put it up on our channel. So most of the things that you're going to hear there, you can see on YouTube. It's about the community.
Yes.
You need the community. It's like going to church. You're not necessarily going to church to hear the word.
You can read that at home.
Going to church to be in community and fellowship, and to get rid of all the stuff you've been beat up with all week long. Well, it's the same thing with keto community. And so seeing these little keto groups popping up all over the country, it really warms my heart.
And I just want to say thank you to people like Trish and like Terry D, who have decided, you know what, I am going to invest my time and talent into organizing these things. It's not easy to organize it. And when you put yourself out there, you are risking people saying, well, I just didn't have fun, or I didn't like that restaurant that they picked, or this isn't a good time for me. And you carry that worry.
Yes.
You carry that like, oh my goodness, because when you put yourself out there and you want to provide for community, you want it to be only positive. I mean, it was funny, we were watching Peyton, and everything that we had planned for her during the week, I wanted it to be just from one smile and laugh and giggle to the next. Well, sometimes when it was a new experience, there was a little bit of a fit pitching before she was like, oh, okay, I'm safe and we're going to try something new and this is okay and I'm going to have a good time, right? But you have to be willing to put yourself out there. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who hosts meetups. I know that it is hard. And I want to tell you, I am proud of you. You may not always get the response that you're wishing for. Whether maybe I've had a connect group where one person showed up and I thought, man, I am hosting this thing and only one person showed up. I was expecting 50, right? Well, you doing that hard work, it is not going unnoticed.
Yeah. Now, I did see Serena asked about some heavy metals in Redmond, and there were some things about that. It's not something that I would concern myself with, but I did see Chris actually put up the blog post where Redmond addressed that, and I'd encourage you to go take a look at that blog post. And it was kind of overblown. It's the best way to explain it. Next one we have is from Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
And Kelly put up this post, and she's been doing the movement group and talking about progress over progression, but I really like this because you can apply it to everything, not just movement. So like action versus inaction, learning through imperfection, overcoming perfectionism, growth mindset, adaptability and flexibility, reducing fear of failure, small steps lead to big changes, consistency over intensity, celebrating achievements, and self-compassion.
It's
true.
And
that all leads to progress over perfection.
Well, and again, we have all of those stressors, all those things around are all thoughts. Like sometimes there's, just this big banner of like, just do the right thing. And there's all of these instances where you have to do the right thing, right? Like it's under the big banner, but there's all of these things like you're going to have obstacles. As soon as you decide, I am going to pursue better ... sleep, health, nutrition, there are going to be obstacles.
Right.
And you're going to have to decide, I am going to take one step at a time, but I am going to see this through.
Yeah. Like I saw Chris put the TLDR, there is trace lead in real salt, also in cucumbers and lettuce and celery and everything that grows in the dirt, which is absolutely true. And it's funny because different states, like California has very strict laws about food labels and stuff. Like one of the things, like cinnamon, like Chris could tell you all about, like if there's cinnamon, like they're gonna find all of these cancerous chemicals in cinnamon.
I always have to think about what is the motivation of the person doubling down on a certain thing.
Yes.
What is the motivation? Is it to like educate? Is it to steer somebody around and say like, see, there's no reason for me to try to do better because it's all the same, because everything is going to kill you? Is it the motivation to make people live in fear because they like it? Some people like to live like we're going, this is apocalyptic times or something, right? They just want to live at a high level of fear.
Yeah.
Well, I can decide if I want to join them in their Adirondack chair of fear. I just noticed in your bear. Thank you, Serena, saying she liked her.
Yeah, and just remember, 90% is good enough.
Yes.
Next one we have is from Nancy.
Nancy.
It has taken me 16 years to finally get to a place where I can say I'm proud of myself and love myself. I've had a lot of challenges along the way. I praise God. I am healthier than I've ever been. One day, when I get brave enough, I will share my whole story, but I'm not there yet. So I'm so thankful and blessed for each day of life. I want to share it. Wasn't easy, but I thank God for helping me each step of the way. And I know I never would have made it this far without his love and grace. It also couldn't have been done without all of the love and support and encouragement I received from our keto friends and family and community. If there's one thing I can share is take one day at a time and please become a part of the keto community, whether it's on YouTube or in a local meetup. And look at this. I never saw Nancy's before picture.
Seriously, I do not recognize that woman. I only know Nancy. And so sometimes that's, what happens when you're in community that like, you may be seeing somebody and they're at their after picture. Like I've only ever known Nancy looking like this after picture. She's a gorgeous woman and I've only seen the success. I've never seen her when she was like starting out. Right. But I'm so thankful because anybody that has spent time with Nancy, their life has been blessed. She is so encouraging. She's very thoughtful. She's another person that has helped to put on meetups. She does, the Central Florida Ketos meetup with Sarah Joy and Matt Franklin and does such an excellent job. And so you just think sometimes when you see somebody that is adulting on a Nancy level that their life just must be easy.
Right.
That they've never had a struggle and that, it's not hard for them to make the choices that we're making. But that's not true.
Yeah.
She has made so many hard choices to get to where she is. And I'm so thankful that she doesn't keep her light under a bush, right? Like she shines.
Well, this picture reminds me to just remind you to please go over to our Mighty Networks group. It's free, members.2crazyketos.com. If you want to support us financially, you can join one of the paid groups and get things like Rachel's coaching on Wednesday. But share your story, share your before and after pictures, because it does two things. When you share your story, it really does help remind you of where you came from, but it does inspire other people. That's why we will constantly share our before pictures. Because number one, yes, I'm doing it because people will say like, I don't know what you look like when you were fat, or we get a lot of comments of, I don't think you were ever fat.
Right.
And so we like to share that. But to be honest, I look at those pictures to remind me of where I came from.
This is how far you
please
come.
go over to our Mighty Networks group and share your before and after pictures.
I see Nancy Gordon sharing that she's in the San Diego area. And if anybody's interested in having a meetup there around San Diego, reach out to her. So I'm going to say, like, reach out on Mighty Networks, let people know. Again, I like the fact that it's a safe space, to be able to have conversations like that so that not everybody in the whole world on YouTube like knows where you live. So it's nicer to have it in like Mighty Network. So if you are interested, reach out to Nancy because she's interested in even hosting a group.
Next one's from Jeannie.
Hey, Jenny.
I met my fasting goals easily this week, but I ate too much food. Not because I was hungry, but because I was stressed because I'm still adjusting to changes at work and haven't gotten a good rhythm going yet. I'm working on it, but a couple of other things I'm going to implement this week that might help are to move more throughout the day and keep myself busy after supper.
Jenny, that's like so important. And I love the fact that you are taking the time to find the real root cause of the behavior. I was talking with Caleb. He had met with us at Busch Gardens to be able to have a day, Uncle Caleb with Peyton. And I thought that that was so precious. They had a great time together, but we were in line and he was reminding me of something that I thought was really important. And boy, this will preach. Do you know that lemons are not a natural thing? They are man-made.
Yes.
Lemons are a hybrid. They are a man-made thing of two things that you've taken together, two fruits, and you've made a new fruit. So he was like talking about like personal responsibility for our actions. And he said, we would always say, well, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. And the truth is, life is not giving us lemons many times. Many times it is the choices that we are made, and we're getting ourselves into a problem.
Right.
So if you don't want to continue like having a certain outcome, you've got to start planting a different seed. Right? You cannot just continue to say, well, I'm just going to keep putting myself into bad situations. So if we know, hey, we're about to go into a new work thing, or I'm not got the back to school schedule right yet. And when I am stressed or when I'm running late, I make poor decisions. Well, I either need to meal prep the night before for days, or I need to decide to fast.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to continue planting a seed of stress eating, that the fruit of that is not going to be good.
So I did see a question from Carrie. I have a question. I have to start doing this. I move at my job. I lift heavy things. I've lost a lot of muscle and I want to try and get more back. Is there an easy way to do that? Is there an easy way to do it? No. How do you get your muscle back? Building muscle as we get older becomes harder and harder.
Yeah.
Because you need protein.
Sure.
The problem is that as we get older, our body does not use the protein as efficiently. So you need to eat more. So my suggestion is to continue to move, to continue to lift more heavy things, to do resistance training, even if it's with your own body weight, like push-ups and squats and pull-ups and things like that.
Navy stuff.
And eat meat.
Yeah.
You have to focus on meat and protein.
And I know Carrie's does that a lot. But what I'm going to say is it is challenging when the strength training is a demand of a job, because it's not like a gym where you start at a certain amount and then you're like working your way up. There's expectations of your job and you come in and let's say you have to lift 25 pounds at a time. Maybe if you were doing it at a gym, you'd start at 5 and you work your way up. But the expectation is do the job right now. And so what I will tell you, Carrie, is it gets easier, because when we came on the farm, I had already started pursuing strength training personally, but we did get here, and going from what I was lifting to half of a refrigerator was a leap. Right. But I will say, upon repetition, it gets easier and easier and easier.
And then that's going to help you maintain. Just lifting heavy things and stuff, that'll help you maintain. But if you want to build, you're going to have to do more.
Right. At home, in your free time.
You have to start somewhere.
When you're home from work.
Next one is from Amy.
Hi, Amy.
I've read that people fall into certain categories, have a higher carb count for healthier health optimization, still primarily eating a low-carb diet. For example, women with hormonal changes, heavy weightlifters, etc. Is there a resource for this? So there's two things to this, and we've talked a little bit about this. Some resources that if you're looking into something like this, is Jonathan Shane talks a lot about this.
Yeah.
Mindy Peltz has talked about this. Dr. Jamie Seaman talks about this kind of stuff. But I want to give you a caution. Yes, and I fully believe, number one, your body likes change.
Yeah.
Okay. That is why I do not personally believe, based on all the research that I have done, and we talk about this, I'll beat a dead horse, and I know that we lose subscribers over this all the time, that there has never been a human civilization that is 100% carnivore, ever in history. So therefore, I do not believe that long-term only ever eating carnivore, and when I say only eating carnivore, I mean literally eating
only
meat, things like cheese and dairy that come from animals, and never ever incorporating a vegetable and sometimes spices and things like that. I do not believe that is proper for a human body long term. In stints, yes, but not long term, because there's no research and no human civilization has ever done that.
Right.
Now, there has been a lot of research that shows that occasionally adding in a whole food carbohydrate for women can help with hormonal balance. But when we're talking about occasionally, you're talking about at certain times during your cycle. And if you can go back, we actually have from Jonathan Chin from last year's low carb cruise. We actually put that on our channel. You can go watch that. And he talked about it. And it's at times within your cycle. And you're talking about something like a sweet potato. There is never, ever, 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 ever a time where you have like eating a donut
is going to help.
Eating a piece of cake, eating a candy bar.
That's not
is helping you with your hormonal changes.
I am this type of human.
We're talking about whole foods.
Right.
You know, with a little bit of starch.
Right, exactly. There is never, and so again, what is the motivation when I see devices being sold that's going to tell you blow in this today like a magic 8-ball and it's going to bloop up today, eat keto. Today, eat a Krispy Kreme. I think today, maybe you should be a vegetarian. I think today, maybe you should, have cake.
Right.
Like, why would that be appealing to someone? Because maybe
it gives you a license.
It gives me permission. It's not me that's choosing to eat the dandy donut. It is the 8-ball. Right. The thing that I blew in, you don't understand. Clearly, this magic 8-ball, this thing I blew in, just told me that I'm a different human being and I require things that are like funner. So this thing, I blew pizza today. So I'm supposed to eat like I'm supposed to go to Domino's. I'm just a different person. You don't understand. That is, of course, going to be very appealing. As the addict side of me, when we were talking about those cereal, like that, the adult side says this, the child in me does this. Well, the addict in me says, yes, I want to blow in that thing. And maybe today I won't have to choose to do the right thing.
Yeah. Now I want to use a lot of caution because I am not giving anybody, whether you're a man, a woman, or whatever, the right or permission to go eat a bunch of carbs right now.
Right.
First of all, if you have just gotten started on keto and you're trying to lose weight and fix metabolic issues, now is not the time to incorporate a sweet potato.
Right.
What I'm saying is, let's say you've been doing carnivore for 6 months or a year. You might want to consider going back to keto or ketovore for a little while.
Sure.
Switching it up. When you get to a certain point, like, for example, we have been pretty much maintaining ourselves for over 8 years now. Occasionally incorporating a little bit of a sweet potato or something, I think is a good, like, little switch for your body. It's like if you have an engine and it doesn't start for a while,
right?
You can go buy carb cleaner or like it's a spray that you spray in and it will give that engine a jump so that when you pull, but it's basically ether. But what happens is as soon as that goes away, it goes because it needs the regular fuel. It's just going to burn off that gas. And it's the same kind of thing. But I'm not, if you've just gotten started on keto, now is not the time.
You don't
Cyclical
need to,
keto, things like that is
right.
not what you need. We're talking about when you get to certain areas, if you've been in a long-term stall, switching it up a little bit. I talk about all the time, and we get hate for it. Like when I go to a Brazilian steakhouse, I have a beet. I eat a beet. I eat one beet. That is something that I give myself.
Yeah.
But I also recognize not to overdo it. And I'm not eating bread or sugar or anything like that.
And I see Amy is here. And of course, Whole Foods is what she's saying. I'm not good at moderating. So I tend to go no carb and be really extreme with restricting. And so, yeah. But you know what, Amy? This is where a little bit of tracking can be beneficial because you can safely have eyes on it. And I don't want you to feel like because you have trouble with moderating that there's something wrong with you. I have trouble moderating as well. Y'all know I can eat the horse and the rider. So what I do with the things that are carbs, and I'm going to say like more of a keto-friendly type of granola, if I'm eating some fruit, if I do eat a sweet potato, which it's been like twice in my, in my keto journey, trying to work on hormonal things, that is the one thing I measure. That is the one thing that's the thing that gets scooped. That, and I'm going to say that to anybody, if you're getting started on keto, and there's plenty of dressings and sauces and other things that can, enhance your experience, that's the thing you need to measure. Anything superfluous, that's not meat or an animal-based product, that's the thing that you track.
Yeah.
Especially if you're somebody that identifies as being, not easy for them to moderate. So you make yourself a keto dessert. You make one, Joe's delicious pie crust, and you make his beautiful cheesecake. And it's awesome. That's when you say, okay, I'm going to put all of the ingredients into Chronometer, and I'm going to divide it into the slices that I think are appropriate. And I get one slice a day because, yes, maybe I have a history of eating the whole, cake in the past. Well, that's not, I don't want you to worry that that's your future. You can decide to just track those things.
Hand me that box over there real quick. This is the perfect example. And I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I'm going
Too
to.
late. Too late.
This is why we talk about total carbs.
Yeah.
Nobody on keto should be doing net carbs. Net carbs is a made up thing. Anybody who really proposes net carbs, it's just a lie. It's a permission to not do the right thing. Yeah. Okay. So here's the perfect example. So these came in a keto crate. We actually got them. We kept them because Peyton likes them. But the ingredients in this are pretty decent. Almond butter, soluble corn fiber, and then you have rice flour, skim milk powder, oat fiber, eggs, cinnamon, sunflower lecithin, baking soda, monk fruit extract, Madagascar vanilla beans, beta carotene. Not the greatest, but not the worst, especially when you're giving it to your 2-year-old grandbaby, right? But here's the thing. One pack is 100 calories. It's 7 grams of fat, 11 total carbs. But then they've got like allulose and stuff in here, okay? And then 8 grams of dietary fiber. So they're saying it's like 2 net carbs, but it's 11 total. There's only 2 cookies.
Yeah.
So if you go by net carbs, you're going to give yourself permission to eat maybe
all the things.
3 packs. Well, now you've just consumed, 33 total carbs, but only 6 net carbs, right? But more importantly, you've just consumed 21 grams of fat. And if you're only eating, say, 140 grams of fat a day,
that's a big dent.
That's a big dent. And that's why you do total carbs and not
And
net.
I see Amy saying, like, you're dealing with hormone issues, perimenopause. Been right there. Like, so I'm on the other side of menopause myself, and I'm going to tell you that for me, and I can't speak for your journey, but for me, staying keto instead of carnivore has helped me with hormonal issues.
And breaking it up. Sometimes you eat only meat. Sometimes you incorporate more things.
But it's just
eat more strawberries
it's just like Joe is saying. I find, because again, remember, stress causes cortisol issues. I find when I'm so worried, oh my gosh, if I come in contact, right, and the guilt and the shame of having a piece of lettuce or having like a bite of sweet potato, because I am like, I've got to be good. I've got to be a good girl. Good girl equals carnivore. Good girl equals, a girl that, maybe you can have some lettuce, but you certainly can't have, a keto-friendly granola. I got to be a good girl. And I get stressed if I don't think I'm identifying as a good girl, right? Well, that's going to whack-a-doodle my hormones right there.
Yeah.
Because I'm stressing out about it.
Next one we have is from Matt.
Hey, Matt, during Keto Beyond the Couch, Rachel mentioned that if we don't like the idea of long exercise, we should set a timer and only work out for that long. I would add that you can also set a limit on the number of reps as an alternative. Starting today, I'm doing 22 push-ups a day. Maybe more, but definitely not less. These 22 push-ups represent the 22 veterans a day that give in to their internal demons and take their lives. This number is unacceptable, and we must do anything we can to lower it eventually to 0. 22 push-ups a day isn't much, but it's what I can do. Do what you can do and do it well. Wow.
That is awesome.
Matt. Oh my goodness. I didn't see this as probably last week because, I was watching Peyton and missed this post that he made. This is great.
Yeah.
If you are somebody that's like, what a great, like you are not going to skip push-up day because of what it is linked to.
Right.
So if you are thinking, I've been needing to get started with something. Doesn't have to be push-ups. Maybe it's sit-ups. Maybe it's squats. Maybe it is just standing up and sitting down. 22. If you're looking, how am I going to get started? And while you're doing your exercises, you have an opportunity to be mindful about why. And you can think about, pray for those veterans, right? And we're praying that they would make the decision, like Matt is saying, I'm hoping that they will make the decision not to give in today. I love that.
Next one is from Deborah.
Hey, Deborah.
Truly now on a solo mission. My wonderful husband and best friend passed away yesterday morning. He fought the good fight. Now I'm making the decision to honor him by taking care of myself and doing what I need to do to get through this.
Wow.
To not eat through this. That's what he wanted. I know I need community in my keto world. People keep dropping off unhealthy foods. I'm totally staying out of it and getting it out of my home. This is 1 hour at a time kind of day. I'm going to walk my fur baby at first light. The neighborhood has been walking him for a week. I'm looking forward to being outside in the morning light.
Deborah, we love you. Definitely, you are on our hearts. I am sorry for what you are going through right now, but please know you are not alone. We are rooting for you. Please message us like on Mighty Network if you just need somebody to talk to. I would say definitely post in there so that we can just as a community love on you. And I think you're right. I think that the best way we can honor our family that have passed on is to take care of ourselves. I think about how much my grandparents loved me. If I want to continue to honor their memory, I can take care of myself because that was something that they would want, right? There's so many people that, sometimes we don't do it for ourselves, right? We have a hard time doing it in the present. But I would say like there are people that have loved you. There are teachers that cared for you when you were in school. They invested in you because they wanted you to have a long and full educated life. So there's lots of people that we've come in contact with, friends and family members and instructors in our life that have passed on. The best way to honor them is just what Deborah is saying.
Next one is from Debbie.
Hey, Debbie.
Let go of the fantasy that you could have done everything perfectly. Trust that you did the best you could so that you can focus on doing your best now.
That's so awesome.
And this is what I was talking about with the children, what you were just talking about, that I can't do anything about what I did in the past. But I can deal with my future.
Today is a new and fresh day.
Let's take a quick fade to black.
And we're back.
Okay, next one we have is from Shan Share.
Well, hello, Shan.
Do y'all eat a ton of fat, like 200 grams of fat per day, or only fat from your meat? I've heard the high fat is needed to get into ketosis. So this kind of leads to today's topic, and it's not really true that you need high fat to get into ketosis. Okay, first of all, as I have to say this, I put ketosis because that's what she wrote, but let's just remind everybody. You want to be in ketosis, but what you really want to be in is ketogenesis. People confuse the two terms. Ketosis is where your body is using ketones for fuel. Doesn't matter what kind of ketones, endogenous or exogenous.
I'll help.
You want to use ketones for fuel. But what you want is your body creating those ketones. That is ketogenesis. So what you really mean to ask is, I've heard that high fat is needed to get into ketogenesis. And that is partially true, but not completely true. You can get into ketogenesis, and thus when you're in ketogenesis, be in ketosis by just not eating.
Yeah.
You can get into it. Don't do this, but you could go and eat 500 calories a day of Oreo cookies, and at times in the day, you will be in ketogenesis and ketosis.
Because you're in such a calorie deficit.
Because you are not consuming enough fuel, and when you don't have enough fuel, your body will begin to produce ketones because it's basically a survival mechanism.
Right.
Okay? It's like cattle. When cattle get sick, one of the first things they do is test for the presence of ketones, because if they've got a whole bunch of ketones, it means they're not eating. That means their body is literally producing ketones. So that's really what ketogenesis is. It's our body's way of protecting itself. Now, when you first get started on keto, you want to eat a higher fat because you've got to deal with the transition.
Right.
You've got to deal with the transition of going from carbs for fuel to fat for fuel. And that is going to help you. It helps you get fat adapted. Once you're fat adapted, you can cut back on that fat. You, no matter what, have to be consuming, to lose weight, less fuel than your body needs. That is I don't like to use calories, because calories doesn't mean much, because there's a difference between 100 calories of fat and 100 calories of protein.
Sure.
Okay, but you need to consume less fuel than your body needs if you want to lose weight. So if your body needs 150 grams of fat, you can't consume 170 grams and expect to lose weight. You need to consume 140 grams. Finding that threshold takes time.
And it's personal. It's individual. We can't give you a one size fits all on that. The best thing that we can advise you to is, if you can control the variables of ingredients, you're going to be able to tap into the authenticity of it. If you add a bunch of noise, like your some days keto and some days like eating carbohydrates, like a lot of people try to straddle, both boats, then you're confusing it. It's harder for you to tap into what your body authentically needs.
So the other thing you have to remember, though, is that on keto, you're using fat for fuel. You are not consuming carbohydrates. So you do need to consume fat. Therefore, a low-fat ketogenic diet long-term is not going to help you, because if you eat low-fat, you're not giving yourself enough fuel. At the beginning, you will lose weight because you've got a lot of body fat, but your body will quickly start slowing down metabolism because you're not giving it fuel, and it will also use the protein for fuel by converting it to glucose, which could elevate your glucose, and you can also lose muscle. So you've got to consume fat. You don't have to do high fat, but you can't do low or no fat keto. So I always like to tell people at least 50% of your calories should be coming from fat.
Yeah.
I'm not up there with the 70%. That's more in like maintaining and stuff like that, or even higher if you're doing it for brain health. But at least 50% of your calories should be coming from fat. And I like to use like a 1-to-1 should be your minimum. So for every gram of protein you eat, you should be consuming a gram of fat. That is a good place to go. That would put you at about 60 to 65%. Next one we have is from Mel.
Hey, Mel.
I'm curious, does anybody do the no shampoo thing? I'm having issues with my hair for the first time in ages, maybe ever, and trying to figure out what's going on. It's becoming really hard to comb it out, and it has never been before. I'm wondering if changing the frequency of my showers has messed up the oil balance of my scalp, or if it's hormones. I'm 49, having some other weirdness too, or just because I've been sick this week. I think it's a combination of everything.
I think it's all the things.
First of all, dry skin can come from environment. It can come from the food you're eating, especially if you're not eating enough fat. What I would say is, if you don't want to shampoo your hair that often, I would use beef tallow as a conditioner.
Yeah.
Just put a little bit of beef tallow. That's going to add some oils naturally into your hair, and you just use straight beef tallow a little bit as a conditioner. Next one is from Larry.
Hey, Larry.
Joe, I, like you, did not see myself living past 50. At 24, this vision was given to me. Maybe deep down inside, it was one of the reasons I've self-destructed. Eating whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, and really using food as a form of comfort and celebration. Thankfully, I'm past that now.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to that.
Yeah, because if we believe that, it's like, mindset is so important. That's why we really hammer it home. That's definitely the dead horse I beat, is about mindset. But if you believe something about yourself, and it's positive or negative, you will live out your life as if it is true. You will live it as if it is directions for your life. Your mind is directing your life. What a man believes, that's the path he is going to follow. So if you're like, if you keep saying to yourself, I don't believe I'm going to live past 50, then the choices that you're going to make in your 30s and 40s is going to be like, every meal is like your death row meal.
Well, that's why I think like younger people, like our
Sure.
children,
Yeah.
they don't care what they eat because they're not thinking about long-term life and death.
They're going to live a long time.
They're going to live forever. I've got a long way. But, now that I'll be 55 in a couple months, you start thinking like I'm on the other side. I'm beyond midlife.
Right.
And I'm on the other side. So you think about more, what do I need to do to live longer? But you think about it. So at 24, he was given his vision. You're not going to live past 50. So why eat to live past 50? It's like, be honest with yourself. I could be honest with myself. If you have no morals, right? If you knew there is zero repercussion for doing anything.
You could
rob. If you want to rob, kill somebody you hated, have a lot of sex, anything, right? If you knew there was zero repercussion from the law, your body, it's not going to hurt you, from God, anything, wouldn't you do it? If I knew there was zero repercussion to eat 5 cheesecakes a day, I would eat 5 cheesecakes a day.
Well, I wouldn't kill somebody.
But do you understand? But I think that if you're honest with yourself and look at that, so if you're at 24 years old, you're going to live more reckless. Right. I'm 24. I'm not going to live more than another 10 years. I remember when my dad was dying from brain cancer, and I went up to visit, and he wanted a beer.
Right.
And they're like, no. And I'm like, the man is dying.
Give him the beer.
Who cares? Right. Let him have his beer.
Right.
Right? Because it's not having that beer. What is it? Maybe shorten his life by 5 minutes? Like he had a couple of months to live.
But if we are living every day like that, because we've pronounced on ourselves that like we have basically what we have is a fatal thinking, then we're going to live out very irresponsibly.
Right.
And so, that is really, that's a lot to think about. That's a lot to chew on, Larry. That's a good one.
Next one is from Ketovore Lady.
Well, hello,
as you get older and you know what is really healthy for you, yes, you stop letting people tell you what you should or should do or be eating. I hate especially when they are not healthy and they're like, why are you fasting or eating like that? It's not healthy. LOL, yes, it is. Look at me and and she actually put a correction. It should be look at me and look at you. I don't care if you are a doctor or a nurse. I'm doing what works for me.
There's so much power in just looking at that person with just no response. Like quiet until they feel foolish, until they realize you are not going to answer them. You're not going to stop what you are doing. They do not have permission to come into your house and pack your lunch for you. So they can like say anything that they want. And I can be on the inside of me like going, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm going to do what I want. Something that I love that scripture that Paul talks about being a prisoner of hope. In fact, I have a necklace that I had made that has a little bar across. It's a little gold bar. If you ever see me wearing it, it says prisoner of hope. That's that I am choosing to be hopeful. And the one thing that a prisoner is in charge of is if they're going to show up to the visitation or not, right? If somebody comes to visit them and you see like the window, the between them, and they pick up the phone and they talk to the person that comes to visit them, you'll even see this on like a crime drama or something. If the person is in jail does not want to talk to the person that came to visit them and taunt them, they don't have to take the call. They are under no obligation to have to take the call. And so I'm a prisoner of hope. So when negativity comes, so when, like somebody wants to try to steal my hope and be like, you're silly for being hopeful, I don't have to take that call. So it's the same thing. If someone is like, pick up the phone, you're a prisoner of keto and I need to talk to you and try to talk you out of it. Don't take the call. Yeah. Don't show up for it.
Next one is from E. Croft.
Well, hello, E.
Do you have another protein bread recommendation? Like how much protein do you recommend? Okay, protein bread. So Rachel made the cottage cheese thing delicious. The other day. I do not recommend any store-bought breads. Okay, that's first of all. I don't recommend any store. If you pick up the product and it says it's got wheat or any kind of wheat in it, I do not recommend them.
Yeah.
Okay, I've not yet found a bread that you can buy in a local grocery store that is keto friendly, that has good ingredients. When it comes to protein breads, I would go the cottage cheese route, or I would go the egg white protein route, which is, there's several out there. Neely's got some good ones. They're all based of Maria Emmerich's protein bread. And just, there have been some modifications. You have to be careful with the modifications, okay? Because some people add extra stuff. So the original recipe was literally just egg whites and cream of tartar, and then a little bit of allulose or erythritol, which was for browning. It's not even necessary.
Then we go Dom DeLuise.
But then it becomes like
soup.
It had like a styrofoam kind of thing,
right.
like almost like a choking hazard. So what we've learned is you could add a little bit of egg yolk or fat source at the very end to that, and it kind of gives it a better texture.
Softens it.
But now it's not a just full protein bread. It does have some fat in it. When Maria did it, was like for PSMF, where you're eating high protein and like no fat 1 or 2 days a week. The problem is some people now began adding a lot of other ingredients. Like recently we were watching a video from a keto channel, and they start adding in like skim milks, and you can add in things like arrowroot powder, which again in a little bit is fine, but you have to be counting all that stuff. If you're adding in, all of a sudden powdered you took milk, something that was 0 carb or a couple of carbs, and now you're adding in 25 carbs, that becomes the dangerous part.
Right.
So we've made a few of them, but I think that the egg white bread where then you shave in some frozen butter at the very end and use an egg yolk, I think it's the perfect texture, and that's where I like to go. Even the cottage cheese, this is going to burst a lot of people's bubble. There's a lot of carbs in that. Cottage cheese has carbs in it.
Sure.
More carbs than other cheese.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying don't eat cottage cheese. Cottage cheese has got really tremendous protein.
But it's not.
But be aware.
Right. It's one of my meals.
It's better than wheat bread.
It's maybe part of one of my meals, but it's not 3 meals a day, 7 days a week. And if there is bread, I love bread. Everybody loves bread. Right?
It's one of the reasons we don't make even the egg white bread as much anymore, because we used to make it and we would eat a whole loaf a day.
So I do better to do, you know what I mean, like one batch.
Yeah.
And just make it. And it takes 40 minutes to make the cottage cheese bread. So that's a good investment for me, because I'm not going to invest 40 minutes 3 times a day or 2 times a day probably.
Next one is from Marie.
Hey, Marie.
This question might be more for your homestead channel. If you use tallow to do deep frying at home after filtering out any debris, can you put clean tallow into quart jars and vacuum seal it so it won't go rancid? Yes, but you don't even have to vacuum seal it. Beef tallow is a stable, shelf-stable fat. It's just like if you remember when your grandma or your ma would put beef bacon grease. You could put it on the counter and let it sit. You got about 6 months. So stores like Buffalo Wild Wings and stuff that use beef tallow for their frying, they're not cleaning that every day. It's sitting in that fryer for like a week.
Yeah, it is.
McDonald's too. So I used to have an F-350 truck. I had a 2003 F-350 truck diesel that I ran off of used oil. I would go to Five Guys once a week and I would get their oil. They used peanut oil. And I would bring it home. I would run it through a filter, and I literally pumped that into my truck. And that was my fuel.
That was the gas.
That was my fuel. I did not buy diesel fuel. I ran it off of used oil. But hear what I said there. Once a week. They only change their oil once a week. Beef tallow is shelf stable. What will ruin your tallow is water. That's what will ruin your tallow. So you can literally you don't even have to filter it every day, but just make sure you're not getting a whole bunch of water in there. So if you use, say, beef tallow for a deep fry, like let's say you're going to make chicken nuggets and deep fry them, or pork rinds, or burger, anything that might have some water in it. Okay. What you want to do is you're going to cook with your beef tallow, then put it on low and make sure you boil off all the water. That's more important than filtering out debris. Flavors, you can stick a potato in there and that will suck out all the flavors, just like our grandparents did with bacon grease.
My
and
grandma
stuff.
used to do that.
Okay, but the most important thing with shelf-stable fats like bacon grease and beef tallow is to make sure there's no water in it. That's what will make it go rancid. I see people talking about refrigerating it. You can refrigerate it, but then it becomes harder. I like that nice, soft, scoopable
But
oil.
I also like it when it's cold because it's like cold cream when I use it on my face.
Next one is from Franny.
Hey, Franny.
I have a hard time with snacks now. When I first started, I never did. I allowed myself Magic Spoon cereal. The whole box was a serving. Yikes, I have to not buy it at all. And I think this is important to recognize. What do you have a problem with? Like nuts. Well, we don't buy nuts because we have a problem with it. And the other day I was driving and I picked up, they were buy one, get one free. When you go to the grocery, not the grocery, but the gas station, they have the little sleeves of nuts.
Uh-huh.
Do you know, like a pack, you know the little single serving thing?
Sure.
There's 2.5 servings in that.
Bull crap. That thing is tiny.
Yeah. So you pick it up and they were cashews, which is not as keto friendly. Cashews and pistachios, though they're great, are higher in carbs, right? So you look at it, it's like, 6 total carbs. Then you look up, it's 2.5 servings.
That just hurt my feelings.
Yeah, so it's if you recognize I have a problem with Magic Spoon cereal or something like that, that's where you have to not have that.
But Franny, what I want to encourage you with is I see seasons in your post. When I started, I didn't have problems. Now I'm having problems. Like, what is encouraging? And what I have to encourage myself is because I have had seasons where I struggle with things and I start to panic. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I used to not have problem with this. Why is this seem to have a foothold in my life? Well, eliminate it for a bit. Let it stop being your go-to thing. And trusting that you will maybe be able to circle back later with a reasonable amount, right? What I don't want to do is label myself somebody that can never do good.
Right.
Right? So I need to be like, okay, maybe I'm having a struggle with this right now, but I'm going to eliminate it for right now, come back later where I don't need such a high threshold in order to be satisfied. That's something that I do with coffee. If I get to the point where I need 2 pots a day to feel like I've had a coffee experience, I need to eliminate it for a while and then come back to it when a couple do.
Right.
Right?
I think we had one more. Last one is from Faded Star.
Well, hello.
I do all 3 in my coffee: butter, quail egg, or chicken yolk, and cream.
Nice.
But I can use way less cream with butter and egg. I think looking up female actresses is different. We were talking about this the other day. 57-year-old female actors have been able to afford nips and tucks and scalps and facials and personal trainers. So it would be good not for me to compare myself to them. Probably different for male actors. I would agree it's different for male actors. I don't think nearly as many male actors get facelifts and things like that. But here's the good thing. And I think it's a good thing. We actually did it last night. We were watching. I will not say what movie it was, nor will I say what actress it was.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't a bad one, but I don't want you to think that like.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at this actress, and so I'm like, boy, she looks old. And it's a very famous actress.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she looks old in that movie. Actually, we weren't watching the movie. It was a preview of the movie.
Yeah.
I wanted to see what the movie was about. And so I looked up how old the person was. And the person is now 55 years old. So now I have to go is, how old was this person
when they were in that movie?
When they filmed this movie?
Right.
And it turned out this person was 49 when they filmed the movie.
This amazes
and I
me.
turned to Rachel and I'm like, you look a lot younger than her in this movie, and you were the same age. Now, here's the thing about the nip tucks. Some of the actresses, when they actually look older because of it.
Well, there's a lot of times
at one point they look good, and like when they first get, they look so young. But then look at them in 10, 15 years, and I think that you have to have the perfect plastic surgeon. I mean, I look at somebody like Donna Joe, who I thought Donna Joe was in her 50s.
So like, I think that I think the better comparison is to keep it within yourself.
Yes.
Right? So that like you are only comparing yourself to like maybe previously, and you're like, because then you can see, hey, if I'm moving my body, if I'm eating right, I have potential. There's potential in there.
Right.
Right? We talked about that at the Keto Orlando Summit, that we realized that even for people like us that were able to like be very sick, very unhealthy, weigh a lot, we would see during the summers of our childhood, even we could lose weight.
Right.
Right. And like, what was going on? What is my true potential?
Right.
So I'm only comparing myself to what I am maybe capable of.
Right.
And then when I do see myself and I say, okay, well, yeah, I think I think I'm doing better. I think I'm healthier now than I was, but I do see wrinkles on my face from when I was 20. I didn't have those wrinkles, you know. Then I say to myself, okay, I'm still comparing myself to me. And I say, okay, well, Rachel 20 and Rachel 40 has had 20 more years.
All I know is that I look around our community, and then we're going to get into the comments, and I look at like this picture of Nancy.
Yes.
Nancy looks...
She does not look
20 years younger now than in that before picture.
Yeah.
And when I look through our community, I meet so many people like on our 2KK cruises, and I find out their age.
And you're like,
nah. No. Wait, what?
Well, that was...
Like, again, like, I thought Donna Joe was my age.
I thought Lola was much younger.
I find out, like, she could be my mom.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like,
she wouldn't
wait,
want that
what?
job, though.
No, nobody wants me as a child. Like, I was a horrible child. But it's just, there is something about keto reversing your age.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's good sometimes to remind yourself like, oh my gosh, I look good for my age.
What is happening is, not surprisingly, because again, we're like, wow, this is amazing. We're nourishing our body. You're eating to nourish your skin cells. You're nourishing to, you're nourishing your liver. You're nourishing your kidneys. Like, you're nourishing your hair. You're nourishing your fingernails. And so, yeah, everything is going to be different.
Here's another one. Okay, Bob. Non-scale victory. I got a flat tire this past Saturday. I changed it. My truck is an F350 Super Duty. So if you don't know,
that's heavy.
It's a heavy, big tire.
Yes.
Okay? That's pretty good for I did not know Bob was 70.
I didn't either. Y'all are lying.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I just would not know that.
No.
So let's jump into the chat. Jerry D said, I have to share my homemade yogurt in frozen Kongs for the fur babies. They go crazy for it. And making frozen yogurt bars. My daughter and son-in-law love them.
Oh, that's neat. So Trish must have done that first. That's awesome.
Serena, I look my age or older. I don't agree. I've seen you, Serena. I don't agree. My bad habits from before keto and cancer treatment and saggy skin. I just don't agree.
I just don't agree. I know that like you have been through so much, and I understand that, but like, girl, you're gorgeous. You don't, I mean, I think it was your son that was recently getting married, and I was like, she does not look old enough to have that adult son.
Sean said, went bowling a couple weeks ago and they offered me a senior discount. I'm 54. I don't look that old. I hope
no, you don't.
No,
we've seen you, Sean.
Okay, let's jump into Gloria's here.
Hey, Gloria.
And I kept the whole time. So I actually have yogurt right now.
I think she was saying she was struggling that, like, her experience with having a yogurt machine, like an Instapot with a yogurt setting, it didn't go as smoothly as she would have liked, or what she thought it was going to be based on our video.
Okay, Lisa says, how can you use a potato to take out flavor from beef fat? So what you're going to do, the best way to do it is honestly that you can just drop it in there. But what our great-grandparents and grandparents did, what you would slice it, because you want to have as much exposure as you can. Okay, so a lot of times what you do is cut it in half, use a couple toothpicks and kind of like dip it in there, and because that allows you to get it out easier. But usually you put a couple pieces, like don't just put a whole potato. You want as much exposure. So you cut it in half and then put two halves in there. And again, A lot of times people would put a toothpick so it kind of dangles in there so that you can pull it out easier. And what happens is the potato soaks up the flavoring. You're not affecting the fat. It's just literally soaking up, like, especially if you like deep fried fish and stuff like that.
I was going to say, so my grandmother, she always used the same, cast iron pan, and she'd have her bacon grease. She cooked about everything in bacon grease, and beef tallow. And so what she would do is go ahead and peel the potato, slice it into like big, thick circles, and she would drop a.
Yes, you have to peel it.
Yeah,
that's important part.
She would drop it in the oil and then fry them like you're frying it. And the reason why she did it every single day almost is because they ate a lot of fish. So if you were, if you live in like, Tennessee, West Virginia, you probably hunt a lot, and you eat out of your freezer is your deer meat that you had killed as a hunter. Well, living in Florida, we eat out of the boat. So whatever my grandfather would catch as the fish, that's what lined their freezer. So she would they ate a lot of chicken because it was cheap, and they ate a lot of fish because he caught it. So when you don't want your chicken tasting like fish, right? So that's what she would do, is she would clean up that oil before she would put the next, thing in it with potato.
John said, I saw burger buns with powdered milk with a couple of egg and some baking powder, supposedly less than 2 cups per bun. I think Anita from Ketogenic Woman made them look good. And again, it comes down to how much.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I've seen.
Are you going to eat one bun and walk away?
I've seen egg white bread recipes adding honey and just you're adding in. And my point is just be aware of what you're adding in. Like most sausage has powdered milk in it. Because I make my own sausage, and you need it for the emulsification process.
And here's the thing, and everybody's gonna, because we love Anita. Oh my gracious, and I'm sure anything that she makes is delicious. But is it for you? Because powdered milk is going to have a lot of carbohydrates in it. But and is over the batch. Right. Like, how are you rationing your batch?
Is it adding 10 carbs per bun or 10 carbs per batch?
And I guarantee you, if she made a video about it, she's going to warn you
right.
about the powdered milk, because it's going to be high in carbs.
It's even like chilies, one of my favorite things. In fact, I'm going to be making some chili today.
Yay!
So, because I unpacked like 5 kitchen boxes and found all my spices.
Right.
So here's the thing. Chili is not a 0 carb food.
No, because of the spices.
I recently saw somebody put up a video of 0 carb chili.
Baloney.
That's not possible.
Most of the things,
and especially when you look at the spices, because all spices have carbs. All spices have carbs.
Yeah.
It's just they tell you there's 0 carbs because a serving is 1/4 of a teaspoon. But when you're adding 3 tablespoons of chili powder and 3 tablespoons of cumin, you're adding a lot of carbs. So if I were to eat my batch of chili, because I'm going to make 4 pounds of meat of it, it's still dividing it into a nice healthy bowl comes out to be 2 or 3 carbs just from seasonings.
Sure.
And that's where you have to be aware.
Know that 0 carb, if the recipe says 0 carb, it is because that is how they're trying to make their video or their recipe searchable. Because people are looking for, if you're trying to, you're saying, well, man, if I'm trying to keep my carbs low, is there anything that is 0 points if I'm following Weight Watchers? Is there anything that is 0 carbohydrates if I'm watching my carbohydrates? Because I'm looking for something that's going to be the best possible option. So if I'm a content creator, I'm going to slap 0 carb carnivore on that video, on that recipe. You're going to get the most amount of hits if it says 0 and it says carnivore. So that's why I'm going to title it. Don't take that to be the law and gospel of it, that it is going to be a recipe that is truly 0 carbs, or that it is going to be a recipe that is only meat. Right? They're just trying to get you there.
Somebody recently made a whole thing on how to make a 0 carb salad.
Right.
But it was a salad with lettuce and
it's
cabbage.
Obviously it's going to have carbs.
It was
Yeah.
actually, they called it a zero carb carnivore salad.
Right, because that's going to get the hits.
But
and there's no shame.
There's nothing carnivore about that.
And there's no shame in that.
It's just a titling game.
It's a title because they're trying to reach you. I want to reach more people for keto, and I will do almost anything to make even a fool out of myself. We want an RV Unplugged because I want to reach people for keto, right? I made a fool out of myself on purpose because I love people and I want them to get healthy. And I know that me making a fool of myself will put myself out there and help us to spread the message. So that is not a bad thing. If somebody is using a title, they're using very popular search words in order to get you to their channel so they can help you, right?
Trish said, I had a big tub of Wagyu beef tallow go rancid in my pantry lately. Is it okay? Yes, it's absolutely okay to refrigerate. Sure. We will refrigerate stuff, especially if we don't use it a lot.
For a long
just
time.
because it won't go bad in your refrigerator, but it will sitting on your counter, especially if you're like us in Florida with high humidity. Like in unpacking those boxes, I actually have one more I found in the storage container that I need to take out. It's got a bunch of kitchen stuff, but I'm not looking forward to because there was a half open container of Wagyu beef tallow in there.
That's nasty.
But the lid came off.
Condensation.
And so there is liquid in the bottom of the thing.
Dear Lord.
So everything in there is going to have to be washed.
Y'all pray for us. That's going to be nasty.
It doesn't smell, but it's just everything's going to be covered in fat. Well, there was another container of beef tallow in there that I'm going to just throw out because it's been sitting in a humid shipping container for a year. So that will just
it got sweaty.
Angie said, did you see that Real Good Foods has now stopped using canola oil and is using, I did not.
Woof.
That is a win.
But let's continue to check our labels on trusted products so that we can thumbs up when things are good and we can eliminate when the things don't meet the expectations anymore because maybe they changed things, but it was in the negative way.
Marcia said Dollar Store has pure beef tallow. That's shot. I did not know that.
Is that at the Dollar Tree?
I just honestly
or Family Dollar.
I was never a Dollar General. I've never gone in it because I always made fun of Dollar General, like where nothing is $1. Yeah, I don't know why you call it Dollar General. Nothing in that store is $1.
Right.
Right. But Anthony introduced me. I didn't know about their coupon app thing.
My app won't work.
You can get some good deals in there.
You can if you can.
And
get
we
the
have
app
a lot
to
of Dollar Generals around us.
I
always thought it was a dollar store, which is why I never really was in. A lot of the stuff in dollar stores is honestly not worth it. Like people go to a dollar store and they buy their aluminum foil. But when you look at the amount you get and then go compare to what's in Walmart, it's cheaper to buy it in Walmart. And that's the case on a lot of things.
Yeah, you have to be a good savvy.
You have to be a very savvy buyer to shop in
that aluminum foil. I wouldn't want to be sitting in it in a tree because I'd fall through it. They make it so spit thin.
Right.
Like it was $1, but like it ain't going to cover
You
nothing.
have to look at like the amount you're getting.
Dollar Tree has broke my heart. As a kids ministry for 30 years, like Dollar Tree, like when they changed their prices to first $1.25 and now it's just sky's the limit. They got something in there. It was like $7 in a Dollar Tree. I thought, do you know how you have thrown off so many teacher budgets, so many preschool budgets and kids ministry budgets because y'all changed your price? Like I understand, but like we're all confused.
Lady Fritzler said, I made the cottage cheese flatbread recently. It worked well with meat and cheese inside. The outside was a little wettish, moist, and it was a little weird. Maybe I'll just put a napkin around it next.
Yeah, that helps. You know what I find does well? Because I was talking to my cousin about meal prepping sandwiches for school lunches for her. And I said, if you use an Egg Life wrap, that can make a great, easy meal prep. But I learned this from Gloria Gail in our group, Gail O, that you have to put a napkin around that wrap and then I put it in like a Ziploc bag. And it's weird, but when you go to eat it, that paper towel is going to be wet. And you're like, why is it wet? What's on the Egg Life? But it gets wet. But then the Egg Life wrap is dry.
Okay, so I found Gloria's question, and this is a good question because this is something new that Instapot's been doing, and I don't know why. So she got an Instapot with a yogurt setting, and it didn't go as easy as our video showed. It did boil it first, and then it ended it.
That's weird.
Downloading the manual today. So
I
don't know why they've done that, and you're finding it on the Instapot Duos is where they've put this setting in. So ours, and I think some of the more expensive versions, the Instapot Duo is like on their lower end line. When you press, it does not boil it. You would have to do that as a separate thing. The boil thing is for people who are using non-pasteurized or not ultra-pasteurized milk. So to make yogurt, you would boil your milk first. Like if you're using raw milk, you would boil your milk first because you got to kill off any bacteria. Then you let it cool, and then you add in your yogurt
because
culture.
You don't want the bacteria to be competing for the yogurt with the
so
yogurt culture.
If you add your yogurt cultures in before the boil, you will kill off the yogurt cultures too, and that's where people are having a problem.
Okay.
So if you have the one that boils it first, Gloria, you want to put the setting on medium. So it should have like high, medium. You can do a temperature on the yogurt. You want to set it on medium, then it won't boil it. So that's if you have that version where it boils it, it gives you an option for temperature setting, high, medium, low. Do it on medium. You can do it on low, but you're gonna have to go a lot longer. But do it on medium. Don't do it on high. On high, it is going to boil it first, and you're gonna kill off all your yogurt cultures.
That's annoying.
That is how yogurt makers in general have always worked.
Yeah, and it makes sense because most people aren't going to use the type of milk we use,
right?
Because of our lifestyle.
So you would boil. Generally, you would always boil. Anytime you're making yogurt, you would boil the milk first and then add in your yogurt cultures. We're fast tracking it, and they're kind of putting their machines back in line with the way traditional yogurt was made. And they're probably doing that because more and more people are buying raw milk, and they're doing with that. And it was interesting. Chris Bear actually sent me a video last night about a woman talking about how people say, well, I drank raw milk and it never hurt me. And a woman was explaining how, no, you just don't know your mother was boiling it.
Oh, yeah.
Like that when you would go out to the cow and get the milk, most women boiled it before serving it to you.
Yeah. And go to the end and make sure, like, hopefully, I was just going to see if Gloria had any other questions at the bottom.
Lady Frister, do people on the dangerous sugar diet go into ketogenesis? Generally not, because they're consuming too many calories. If they were to do just sugar and only eat 400 or 500 calories a day, they would, but you're not going to get the results you're looking for. John said, I use Fairlife milk and I skip the boiling. Yes. And so Lady Fritzner said, Instapot boil for yogurt is really only 180 degrees, not a rolling 212, and you can bypass it. But the 180 degrees will kill off yogurt cultures.
Right.
So that is the thing. Chris said, he put up the video about the lady talking about raw milk and the sheer amount of work that women would do to make keep their family alive. It was an interesting video.
Thanks, ladies, for keeping your family alive.
But if you're going to do Fairlife milk, which I recommend Fairlife milk because it's an ultra-filtered milk with 50% of the sugar. That's why you have less carbs in your yogurt when you're doing it that way.
Yes, Dollar General is the official sign that you're a tiny village and is now in a tiny town. That is the closest store to us is a Dollar General.
Yeah, yes. And we have a lot of them.
We do. Like
we drove to Orlando yesterday. I feel like it's a 90-mile drive because we were taking a lot of back roads, and I think we pass at least $25 Generals.
Well, because you're going through
lots of towns, Wauchula, and
Bartow, lots of little towns.
Okay, we are going to get off, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, like I said, we are going to get back into our regular kind of schedule this week. Rachel will be live on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time in the Mighty Networks Meatheads group. That is the paid group. So you can join for $5, $10, or $25. if you want to support us financially. Otherwise, just go join the free group, which is members.twocrazyketos.com. And we will be back live on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Wait, Gloria has one thing. Oh, and one final thing of the yogurt stuff, guys. I just came down with a cold. I'm sorry to hear that. Is it a better idea for me not to have any until I'm done with the cold?
No, I think it can help you because it's got some live cultures in it.
Yeah. We love you guys.
Bye.